Hello, dear friends. We made it, and here we are studying the book Money. And we just wrote to you saying we wouldn't be able to be here, but we're gonna try to make it. You know, as a mother, duties call, and but we made it. Let's try. Carlos is helping us, and today we're studying a new chapter of this book to help us redefine money, to empower ourselves, and to create a new disposition for this incarnated life, right? Thank you so much for your patience, for your understanding, okay? And this chapter today comes right after we have studied the first chapters, in which Emmanuel described to us that money is of God, from God. Money is energy, money is a companion, but we shall not be enslaved by it. And he also gave us a new opportunity to revisit the concept of wealth. And we realize that we are wealthier than we imagine, because our wealth is not only about the financial component of our lives, right? I was okay, it's just that Virginia is a little sick, so it's not easy. You know, whomever is a mother, you know, unexpected circumstances, but it seems like we can go on, okay? And let's go on, because it's worthwhile being here and creating this constructive current and joining actually the constructive currents of all the loving spirits as we also immerse ourselves into this new pathway. Thank you, friends, for your prayers, for your kindness. And it is what it is. We are in an incarnate life, and what can we say, right? So let me say hi to all of the friends. Dear Leonor, dear Melissa, dear Leia Severo, dear Andrea, dear Sunshine, dear Julija, dear Ceissa, dear Rihanna, yes, dear Luciana Antoine, dear Angelira, dear Adilson. Thank you, friends, for your loving kindness. Thank you, it means a lot. Yes. So the love feels good, right? Let us now read from Emmanuel, reminding ourselves of the importance of being permeable to the teachings. And today he titled this chapter, as an educator, let us observe. Hello, Patricia. Thank you so much, Rihanna and Tiago. Thank you, Solange, for your loving kindness. It's interesting that Emmanuel, as an educator, has titled this chapter, Let Us Observe. And he's not being poetic. He's actually calling our attention in a more direct way to points that will help us empower ourselves and redefine money after so many reincarnations that we really lost track of how to use it well, and now we're finally calibrating ourselves. This book is a great way to calibrate ourselves. You know, when you have an instrument, Mentor Joseph is saying, you have an instrument and you need to tune it up, and that's what it does. You need an instrument another one to help it. So this is the book that comes to calibrate ourselves so we can use money in a more efficient way, but not only for ourselves, for others, not only teaching us about how to use money, but the intention behind it. He begins, let us observe. Do not deter yourself on the earthly purchasing power of gold to do the good. Acknowledge the wealth of your knowledge, and do not despise your fellow being who is still entangled in thorny ignorance. Consider the treasure of faith that will enrich your understanding, and learn to forgive your brother in difficulty, which may be found in the precipice of denial. Meditate on the light that shines on your understanding, and stop condemning the unfortunate who still grope in darkness. Analyze the heritage of your love that enlivens your existence, and assist those victims of hate who are unable to edify for themselves the refuge of suffering. Examine your conquests regarding personal safety, so you can help those who have fallen in despondency or despair. Outline your health values that solidify your relative balance on the earth, and your serenity and patience with the sick that long for devotion and affection. Project in your mind the richness of your hours, of your words, and of your free movements. Reflect on the many blessings heaped upon your eyes that are able to see, upon your ears that are able to hear, upon your feet that are able to walk, and upon your hands that are able to work. Who be the richest of true happiness? The one who agonizes over a lot of gold, or the one that can breathe the sense of the valley between peaceful work and the mercy of light? Do not allow charity to be an exclusive task for those that have accumulated money of this world. Instead, be merciful unto the brother or sister who is stingy and has locked his or her own heart within the thick walls of a coffer. Remember the divine donor of the imperishable life. Instead of memorializing love in works of metal or stone, Christ used a simple cradle of straw and a cross of sacrifice to frame his ministry of brotherhood and to spread beauty, peace, optimism, and understanding to all corners of the world, thereby benefiting all generations. In terms of aid, let's divide our own soul, therefore providing inexhaustible service of goodwill towards all. And with such investment, be convinced that all the misery of our past won't subtract the treasure of blessings that we will accumulate in the elevated walks of life to shine eternally in our great future. He has a lot to make us observe about, right? These are quite a few paragraphs that he really would like us to look within and revisit. What is it that he wants us to revisit? That he's asking us to revisit? We need to ask ourselves, what is it? First, he says, from beginning to end, he has one main message. But we need to ask this question to us. Do you think, let's make this comparison, between the person who has money and the one that has not, do you think the one who has money is more useful than the one who hasn't? Do we have that believing side, that belief? We need to know, because that type of belief can be very limiting. And that's exactly what Emmanuel is telling in this chapter. He's saying that if you believe that you're only useful or really when you have money, then you're limiting yourself. I'm limiting myself, and I'm also not trusting others. We need to revisit our beliefs. No, right, Cesa? Hello, João Bosco. Hello, Sol. Hello, Danny. And I know Erica probably is there too. Liz Delia. Hello, Liz Delia. So no, right, friends? We really need to revisit this concept. Because for many lives, we believed that to be useful, I need to have money. And that's exactly the first observation by Emmanuel. Do not deter yourself from the earthly purchasing power of the gold to do good. And you know the story. If you don't, I'm going to tell you. True account. A man came and he came to Chico Xavier Center. He used to go to Chico Xavier Center. He was very poor. One day he came and said, Chico, the day I win the lottery, I will donate part of the money to the center. Chico smiled and didn't say anything. One day, this man won the lottery. Believe it or not. He won the lottery, and the next day, he disappeared. He disappeared. And he moved to the capital of the state of Minas Gerais, Belo Horizonte. And he stayed there. One day, Chico Xavier is there because he travels, of course. He traveled and he was in a particular spiritist organization, an event, and the man was there. And Chico heard this man saying to somebody else, can you believe it? When I used to go to Chico Xavier Center in Pedro Leopoldo, I promised that I would give him and the center part of the money. Where was my mind when I promised such a thing? Only a silly person would do that. Period. Years went by. And of course, life in an incarnated life ends at some point. And what happened? The man incarnated. And one day he showed up in a mediumistic meeting like this. Chico, please help me. And he said, how can I help you? And he said, you know, the man said to him, I won the lottery and I feel so sorry. I promised you the money. I never gave you the money. And Chico said, my friend, don't worry about it. Life goes on and these things are just passing. Don't worry about it. He said, but Chico, my money. It's not your money any longer, my friend. No, but it's my money. And it's in somebody else's hands. And he was suffering because of his attachment. And because he believed that to do something, he needed money. But when he had it, he didn't give it. So in the story by Chico Xavier, we're learning that it's not about having, it's about the inner disposition. Those who are able to give 1 can give 10. So the question for us is, how easy is it for you to share the things that you have, to give away material goods? We need to ask ourselves, what is the level of our detachment in that regard? Scale 0 to 10, where do you think you are? 0 to 10. 0 being like, I'm still so attached to the things that I have. And 10 being like, I am not attached at all. Where do you think you are in regards to this type of attachment? And now Emmanuel is going to tell us another way to observe life. And he says here, do not limit yourself to believing that you can only be useful if you have money. Because if you have the wealth of your intelligence, you have the opportunity to understand those who are not there yet. You know, I know some people who say like this, I hate, what a word. People say, I hate, but I hate stupid people, dumb people. And I wonder, how smart are we actually to feel that we're the ultimate authority? Imagine if somebody who knows more than me looks at me and say, I hate people who are this ignorant. Me. Because they're more. Me? No. Why am I going to be like that? The same movement that people may do, like I'm rich, you're poor, I'm intelligent, you're not. And he's saying the wealth of intelligence needs to be boosted to the level that we understand those who haven't got a certain point yet. It's like faith. Faith. Be forgiving of those who are skeptical, that they don't believe in anything. Does it bother you? It shouldn't. It shouldn't bother you. It should bother you if they don't allow you to believe in what you believe. And still we would understand. But if they don't wanna believe in God, it's their problem, not ours. And he says, meditate on the light that shines on your understanding and stop condemning the unfortunate who is in darkness. So we need to boost our understanding. And the understanding, André Luiz, in the book Green Light, Sinal Verde, he says in a lesson about felicidade, happiness, he says that when we actually understand people, we gain the state of heaven. And Emmanuel, in the book Thought and Life, a chapter dedicated to understanding, he says, the shackles of our past. Sorry, let me go back here. André Luiz even says in that chapter, the more I know of myself, the humbler I begin to be. More humble. And Emmanuel says the way to cut the shackles of our past is to seek the good. So maybe I don't understand about painting, but I understand about a particular thing in science. That's okay. If I meet a painter, I won't feel less. And you know, the reality is, Mentor Joseph said to me one day, some people, when they see the greatness of others, they feel diminished. Do you feel diminished when you meet people who display a certain level of advancement in any area and expertise in any area? Because there are people who are like this. They look at people who are shining in any particular area and they feel diminished. Like, oh my God, you see, I don't amount to anything. That is a sign of a pathology. Because the person is feeling what we call spite. Comparisons are no good. If you see somebody shining, it's because you are recognizing something that is in you. You can only recognize something you know. You can only recognize the greatness of others if the seed of it is already in you. So if you admire something on somebody or somebody, remember that quality is in you, because you can only admire something that you know. Really, Cesar? You used to, but no more. Good job. Good job, all of us, right? And now we learn it. What do we learn? When we see somebody, like, let me give you an example. Michael Phelps. Oh, Michael Phelps, how adorable. And I say this because he's the role model of being an athlete, an Olympian. So we look at him and say, wow, he is amazing. I'm not going to look at him and feel spite, like, oh, you see, I'm never going to be like him. Yeah, no matter how hard I try. Yeah, I'm no good. Please, you don't have to be a swimmer in this life. And if you are working on the field, it's a matter of persistence. But for us, it's a matter of looking and learning how to admire. And the more I see the light of that person shining brightly, there is a correlate inside of me. Yeah. What do you admire in that person? The determination, because you have that seed, or that sprouting already inside of you. You admire the discipline because you have that inside of you. You can only recognize something you know. If I show you this, what is this? It's a headphone. How do you know? Because you've seen it before, right? If I show it to somebody in a particular primitive tribe anywhere on this earth, they may not know what it is. They cannot recognize it because they've never seen it. In Portuguese we say, eu somente reconheço o que eu conheço. I only recognize what I've known before. So there is a matrix inside of me that matches, and says, oh, I know it, oh, I know it, oh, I know it. So if I, by any chance, despise somebody because they seem to be ignorant, it's because I'm projecting my ignorance too. You do not accept your ignorance. I do not accept my ignorance. If you are upset because somebody is in denial regarding God, a skeptic, it's because inside of you, some parts of you feel the same and you don't like it. Otherwise, it wouldn't bother you. Examine your conquests regarding personal safety so you can help those who have fallen in despondency or despair. So here is a way to help people. And money doesn't buy it. People who are in despair, right? And you do the Caravan of Love, like the Yes group or the Orlando groups, the Miami groups. And then through that effort, you are actually reaching out to those who are in despair, who have fallen. Outline your health values that solidify your relative balance on the earth. and your serenity and patience with the sick that long for devotion and affection. How often we're not patient with people who are sick? Because it's not easy. I remember a mother who used to be upset with her daughter when the daughter was sick. She would say, "Why are you sick? Are you trying to call my attention?" And I say, "Oh, Mama Mia, are you kidding me? You're gonna argue with a child who is sick because you think they're doing this to call your attention and you think it's love?" So if you think your child needs attention and is getting sick, remember that happens unconsciously. The child doesn't know. Okay? So what do? You talk to your child saying, "What can I do to love you more? What can I do to love you more? Give you all of my attention. You know you have my attention." But as Mentor Joseph was teaching me tonight, at some point he said, we need to teach our children also to be players of a team. We need to teach them one of the most precious things, to be the co-operators, the co-pilots. And he said, majority of the children and youth of this new generation are delaying to find their own identity because we're not teaching them to be co-pilots. We want them to be pilots, and there's only one pilot, God. When we overexcite that sense of individuality without the counterpoint of the foundation, which is God, and teach them to serve and be co-pilots, they're going to have a hard time to actually cooperate with God. They're not going to be easily disciplined. They're not going to be easily joining things that they don't want to join because they are not learning how to be co-pilots. How do you teach a child or a teenager to be co-pilot? By telling them, you were born to serve, you're born to learn, you're born to serve God and Jesus on the earth. What about you? What about you? And Carol Correa is kindly asking here, how about teaching by example? Yeah, by example. Yeah, by example is the number one, Carol. But you know, some parents, they feel discouraged because they know they're not there. So they can learn as they grow with the child. And that's the beauty of the school of parenthood. You don't need to know before you teach. You teach and you exemplify at the same time. You say, look, let's try this way. Thank you, Carol, for asking this. You know, we learn as we go, right? We teach as we are also learning. Okay? Right? Thank you, Tanya, as well. Project in your mind the richness. Aha. We love this part. He's saying, let us observe the richness of your hours, of your words, and of your free movements. The richness of your hours. How many hours do you have at hand? The beauty, the preciousness of these hours. The words that we take for granted, and free movements. Today we were in a center in Orlando, and our dear mentor Joseph was saying, today we may be visiting Disney World, but you bet that at some point between now and this incarnation, the car of our bodies, like a machine, needs to do a pit stop at the mechanic, the hospitals, the doctors. So it's a good reason for us, when we have free movement, to go places, to even enjoy ourselves, that we be very conscientious that that shall also pass, and that we shall not go around feeling that today is the last day of our lives because we reached the Mount Everest. Because after we reach the top, we need to climb down and go all the way back. Meaning, there's always days and days. So let us be thankful for the days of free movements. Let us be grateful for the time that God grants us each and every day. And also the words. The words. How rich do you think you are regarding words? You know, since we think in images and we translate our thoughts into words, yeah, that's how it goes. Let us think about the very fact that we're so rich in the potential of speaking and communicating, but we barely use it in a conscious manner. We often react when we're saying words. We often do not even know what we're talking about. Majority of people regret what they've talked about. And Emmanuel gives us more. Reflect on the many blessings, the eyes that see, the ears that hear, the feet that walk, the hands that work. Thank God we can be here with you. Thank God we can hear one another. Yeah, think about this. He's saying this is wealth. The preciousness of these gifts. And he says, who is the richest? The ones that has gold or the ones that has peace of mind? Do not allow charity to be an exclusive task for those who accumulate money. And it's so interesting because we're living in a world that, you know, my financial benefactors are still at the top of the world, right? I know a benefactor in a city that I lived here in the United States, a wonderful person, but he would give money to any cause that appeared here, a true benefactor. And people appreciate him a lot. But they don't know the many anonymous works that go on and people who are true benefactors, but in a different way. Because it's not valued yet. But we're going to get there. We need to appreciate that. He says a little more here for us. Remember the divine donor of the imperishable life. Instead of memorializing love like we do nowadays, right? We give money to have our name in a wall, the wall of a building, on a chair, on a bench. He says, Christ didn't have it. Thank God Christ didn't have any money. How could we follow a guiding model that is under conditions that only a few could achieve? Christ used a simple cradle of straw and a cross of sacrifice for his ministry and to spread beauty and peace and optimism and understanding for all generations. More and more we are appreciating the works of Jesus Christ because what he did is achievable amongst all. as Carol is saying, the divine donor of eternal life, imperishable life, exactly. The divine donor, the benefactor. And in terms of aid, let's divide our own soul, providing inexhaustible service of goodwill towards all. And with such investment of our goodwill, be convinced that all the misery of our past won't subtract the treasure of blessings that we will accumulate in the elevated walks of life to shine eternally in our great future. As I said, doesn't matter the past, what matters is today, that if we keep sowing today, we're going to invest and accumulate blessings that will for sure be harvested in the future. Don't be discouraged. Are you discouraged? Because there are many people, people who leave prisons, they have a hard time beginning anew because the shadows of the past impact so greatly in them. Same for us. I know people who feel so defeated by the past that they have no courage to begin anew. But with the richness of ours, of several resources, we're invited constantly to progress and to renew ourselves. I've met a lady once who was the president of a Spirit Center in Brazil, and then throughout her elderly years, she gave the position to other family members. And then at one point, the family members or the members of the center said, we want you back as the president of the center. And she was 86 at the time. And she said to me, but Vanessa, how can I do this? I'm 86. And I remember Mentor Joseph saying, and I replied to her, you're so wealthy of lucidity, of discernment. That's what they need. Share your wealth because you're still incarnated, and that's one of the reasons why you're still here. So spread the good news by fulfilling your task with goodwill and trust. You're still wealthy of health. You're still wealthy of discernment and time. And people need it. They need you. So here we have, dear friends, an opportunity for us to observe today, how we are applying the richness of our resources between time and health, and also the richness of our hours and words into the benefit of all. Each word is a coin that we're investing in our future. Let us share, as Carol Correa is sharing here with us, share the intelligible health and wealth at all ends. Shall we? Yes. And tomorrow when we come back, we're going to go to a beautiful chapter in the Temple of Goodness. And just as a teaser, condemnable are the charitable attitudes of spending considerable sums toward the needy. But if you personally seek unhappy brothers or sisters, offering them an embrace of solidarity and good cheer, then pure goodness will shine in your heart. What did he just say? It's about wealth and goodness. It's about helping others, reaching others, and achieving this wealth of goodness. What is it? In the temple of goodness. Yes, we will continue this journey of inner empowerment. Today, our exercise is to evaluate what we are doing with the richness of your time, of our health, of our intelligence, of our understanding, of our words. Let us meditate on this. Let us observe and multiply this good so we can enter the temple of goodness. Thank you, dear friends, and until later, God willing.